TheeLitOne, what's poppin'? We are on Twitch. We are not live, but you can leave a like, comment, subscribe. Turn on your post notification bells, man. Let's continue to grow the family from Chicago to the UK. This is the first channel, documentary time. So you see the warning label. It's very simple. Following presentation is intended for a mature audience. It contains graphic descriptions of crime scenes, adult dialogue, and strong language. Real discretion is advised. And y'all can read this one, YouTube. I know y'all got real readers behind there. So, we're gonna do this one today. Hold on, let me set it up. I'm gonna edit this out. Y'all not even gonna see this part. So.
Out to watch contain.
Drip. Don't forget, we are partnered with the Blueprint Mastermind. This specific episode will be down in the description below. If you're looking for any of my old videos, they are located on the Facebook page. Y'all can go watch, I'll be posting some reels on there too, so it's kind of funny. And if you're not, please if you can, go over to Patreon. This is where all the funny stuff gets done. This is the good stuff. This is everything I've done, and I got 2 new shows coming up. This is England, and one more I forgot the name of. But let's get into this Rose Kemp prison documentary, Kenya. Brutal special, okay. Whatever that means.
Riots, ruthless police tactics, and unimaginable poverty. But what sets this film apart from others that we've made is that by the time we completed it, several of the contributors had been brutally murdered.
Dang. I'm trying to remember if I've seen it.
Live from the Sky News Center, this is Sky News with Chris Roberts.
Hello there, top story at 6. Despite international calls for calm, the situation in Kenya seems to be worsening by the hour.
Broke out after Mwai Kibaki won the presidential election, a vote that many of his opponents say was rigged.
After 6 years in government, President Kibaki was expected to lose the December 2007 election. His disputed win plunged the country into violence that left 1,500 dead and 250,000 people displaced, and Kenya on the brink of civil war. Go for it down there. We're here to investigate an organisation that comes with a fearsome reputation and is accused of being behind much of the intertribal violence. Right, get in the car, get in the car, get in the car. Okay, let's go. I'll hear firsthand about... Get in the car, get in the car. Okay, let's go. I'll hear firsthand about the brutal murders committed in the slums.
His head ended up there.
I will learn about the extent of their threats.
Mombasa, Eldoret, Lamu, everywhere.
I might have to age restrict this one, golly.
We'll burn these houses to hell.
And I'll be in Nairobi when they attempt to bring Kenya to a standstill.
Maybe I will read this out loud. Let's see. I do not glorify, sensationalize, or condone any of the acts stories told. I am here simply to educate myself and others of the history or current state of issues around the world. Just in case, man. You never know. This is deep. I ain't never seen this one.
I've come to Kenya to meet a secret sect known as the Mongiki. They claim to have over 4 million members and are said to have been behind much of the post-election violence that claimed over 1,000 lives here. They're also accused of running protection rackets worth millions of shillings and of torturing and decapitating their enemies. It's 4 months since the election, and the 2 main political parties here are still at loggerheads over who ultimately controls this country. The political uncertainty, the corruption, and the tribal violence makes this the perfect environment for the Mongiki to thrive.
I'm not even gonna cap with y'all. Let me pull out my notes so I can timestamp where all of this negativity is being produced. Well, this is all negative, but I think it was 1 minute, and then 2 minutes and 55 seconds, This everything I gotta blur out.
The parts of the country I'm visiting bear no resemblance to the vision of safaris and tropical beaches that most people have of Kenya. Decades of corruption have kept the ruling elite enormously wealthy and the majority abysmally poor. 3/4 of the urban population live in huge lawless ghettos, and 56% of all Kenyans have to survive on less than $1 a day.
Less than $1 a day?
It's said that the Mungiki control most of Nairobi's sprawling slums, and that is where I start my investigation. They are accused of preying on the poorest by taking over the slums and setting up huge extortion rackets and brutally stamping on anyone that challenges their rule. There are communities that live in constant fear of the Mungiki threat.
That name Mungiki.
Yeah.
That Mungiki.
What does it mean to you?
That can make you afraid. They are coming in large number. And if they reach you, they will kill you.
They could just come and slash you to death, believing that if they can kill 10 people, 100 people will be scared.
The Mungiki have a reputation for
Let's go ahead and timestamp that.
A message, and that message doesn't come with just shooting somebody.
They do decapitate people. They skin people as well, don't they?
They do, you know, and that is not just killing somebody. You know, that
torture.
is ritualistic. That is actually, yes, that is torture. And I compare Mungiki to terrorists, because terrorists do very grotesque things and they make the people live in dread.
The Mungiki claim to have millions of members, but it's impossible to know the exact numbers as the organization is shrouded in secrecy. We thought gaining access to them would be difficult, but after only being in Kenya for 36 hours, we hear of a serious standoff between the Mungiki and the police.
So you jumped right into it. And 36 hours into the trip to Kenya, you jumped right in there with the Mungiki. When they at odds with the police. You going to a war zone. That's tough, Rose. That's tough.
Are they dead?
No, they're not dead.
The Nairobi suburb of Kayole is a Mungiki stronghold. Yesterday, an angry mob laid siege to a police station holding a Mungiki suspect and forced the police to release him. Today, we get a call to say that in reprisal, hundreds of police are pouring into Kayole, clearing the streets and searching for Mungiki.
You can see around us, police have just cleared the streets. People are upstairs on the rafters on the roof, all looking down. People have got guns, as you can see now, on my left. They're undercover cops, and they've got AK-47s. Interesting.
Not very undercover.
Gunfire down there.
The police are closing off whole areas to search for anyone they think may be connected to the outlawed organization.
Afternoon. Can you talk to us? Can you talk to us? Tell us what's going on? Is that a no? They're loading people up. Well, I'm not sure whether they were the protesters or not, but they've certainly been rounded up and they've been taken off for questioning or whatever happens here.
I try to find out exactly what's going on.
Gentlemen, I'm on duty and you please go away. Who are you, first of all?
We're from Sky Television, London, England.
What are you doing here?
We're filming what's going on here.
You go home. This is our internal problem here.
Okay, thank you. Told to go home.
I just told you to book a whole flight and go back to London. That's tough.
Soon the police are reinforced by the GSU, the General Service Unit, They are the government's elite riot squad.
They are a scary bunch, I have to say. Something going on. Guys, draw his gun. Let's go. Got someone. Just arrested someone there. The shot's going off. This has all resulted of the Mungiki guy being released. The police have come back with a vengeance.
Just kill me. Let them kill me. Let them kill me. If don't. Kill me. Kill me. Yeah, kill me.
I ain't gonna lie, I would have came up out that shirt so quick and gone.
These guys have got dreads. They've got classic Mungiki haircuts. A lot of them shave them off nowadays. Rocks are being thrown. Look, rocks over there. Just land. You right? You right? Over there. Just land. It's out of nowhere. You right? You right? Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's out of nowhere. A lot of people started throwing stones down this alleyway. No, wait. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. There's tear gas, actually. Smell it? Just got the drift of the tear gas in the wind. We're actually in the wind now. You're going to start getting it. So we're going to move out of the way of it.
After yesterday's humiliation, the police are keen to reassert their authority.
This lot turned up in force. It smacks off to me as just simple retaliation.
This is probably one of the craziest things I ever seen Rose do. Like, I've seen some crazy stuff, but this, you in the middle of a war, like a civil war, basically, in Kenya. There's rocks thrown at you, tear gas, AK-47s, corrupt police, all types.
You know, one Mungiki was released yesterday. They've come back in here to show who's boss, and they've certainly done that.
24 hours after the riots, the Mungiki agreed to meet us, but only on their terms. I'm in Kenya, just weeks after some of the worst violence the country has ever seen. I'm trying to meet the Mungiki, a secretive sect said to be behind much of the recent bloodshed. The majority of the Mungiki are from the Kikuyu tribe, and beheading their enemies is a tribal tradition.
From the Cathedral of the Highlands in Nairobi are born the bodies of Mr. and Mrs. Roger Ruck and their 6-year-old son Michael, a British family brutally murdered by the Mau Mau.
The Mau Mau used decapitation as a fear tactic against the British in the 1950s during their struggle for independence. And it's said the Mungiki have copied the terror tactics of their Kikuyu ancestors. Yesterday I watched the police round up suspects in a Mungiki-controlled area. Word has obviously got around that
I'm going to try to censor it myself so I don't have to go back and edit as much.
we're here because today I get a call.
When we first arrived here, we had no idea how much access we'd get to a secret organisation like the Mungiki. Our best hopes that we'd get to speak to foot soldiers. Well, out of the blue, we've been offered an interview with the 3 top members of the Mungiki. Going to a location...
Sound like a setup to me.
Some way out of Nairobi, and obviously we're a little bit worried about what's going to happen when we get there.
They want to meet at the deserted home of their imprisoned founder, Maina Njenga, currently serving 5 years for the possession of drugs and firearms. The Mungiki claim it was a setup by the authorities. We've clearly been observed on our approach to the house, and now I'm left waiting for the Mungiki leaders for what seems like an eternity.
Hell no.
Good afternoon. Hi, Ross Kemp, pleased to meet you.
Hello, gentlemen.
Pleased to meet you, Ross Kemp. How are you? How are you? Pleased to meet you. How are you? You well? Thank you for agreeing to meet us. You know about the publicity that you're given. We've heard that you cut people's heads off, that you skin people's skulls, that you dismember their bodies and leave them in different areas. How do you answer those accusations?
They are all very good fabrications from the state machinery, especially during the Kibaki era. Before that, there was not a lot of negative propaganda. After they saw the growth of the movement, they started bringing in fear in between, okay? And what they did first is they started attacking our members, killing them.
This is the police, the government?
This is the police. They took two people. There were two people, in fact. They killed one, they beheaded one, placed his head somewhere in Nairobi.
So you were accused of the beheadings that you say they committed?
And at least we can say the fear that the government propagated has really worked. But it's not us who do anything.
The Mungiki originated as a spiritual group in the 1980s around the prophecies of their charismatic leader, Maina Njenga. He encouraged a return to a more fundamental Kikuyu way of life. The word Mungiki means multitude, and by 2002, they were 1 million strong. And the sheer weight of numbers meant that the Mungiki became a political force and a political threat. They were criminalized by the government in
Facts. Anything that got 1 million bodies behind it, like, yeah, the government is gonna be on you, unless you're working for their favor. Allegedly, I don't know. This is just my opinion.
2003, and at this point, their objectives changed. They started taking control of the slums, and it's here that they are reputed to extort millions and rule with an iron fist.
You, as an organisation, control or run a lot of the slums, is that true?
True, very true.
But there must have been gangs inside those slums that weren't happy about you turning up.
We changed those rude boys. We first changed those people.
And how did you persuade him?
No, give him reality.
Good question. How did you persuade him? He still got skin?
And give him reality and give him hope.
But if he probably only understands violence, how do you deal with someone that only understands violence?
First change is his mental perspective to life. He should not just be violence, you know. He should think about his future.
The original philosophy of the movement is one of unity, self-sacrifice, and power in numbers. The Kikuyu are Kenya's biggest tribe, and the Mungiki are seen as the group that stands up for the ordinary rank-and-file Kikuyu. Members can be identified by their continual use of snuff, but as a group, they are strenuously opposed to drugs and alcohol and all symbols of Western decadence.
Is it right that you levy taxes on the people inside the slums?
No, we assist one another. We don't levy taxes.
Can you explain to me the difference?
They all know that we all have a sort of like a common problem. You know, the poverty is common all through. So they'll need sort of like something like a welfare system that the government did not create for them. So the people create for themselves.
And you organize that?
Yes, we help them in the organization.
The youth of this country have been reduced to almost nothing. We have a lot of problems everywhere.
Well, corruption seems to be endemic inside this country.
Corruption is everywhere.
Yeah, Kenya is not yet free. A country of 10 millionaires and 10 million poor people.
10 millionaires and 10 million poor people. That's...
Just came out of my meeting with the Mungiki, and I have to say I'm probably more confused now than when I went in there. I've been led to believe that they were extortionists, that they killed people, cut their heads off, but nearly every question that I laid at their feet, they seem to have a pretty convincing answer. I still don't believe that they're the saints they paint themselves to be. They can't be. You know, that old saying, there's no smoke without fire. It looks like we're going to have to ask a lot more questions until we find out exactly what's going on here.
The number one red flag for me was the suit size. I'm not trying to be funny in that them oversized suits. It's giving red flags for me, man.
One thing I do know about Kenya is the huge gap between the rich and the poor. Ever since Kenya won its independence from the British, the wealth and power of the nation has been divided up between a small group of the political elite, leaving the vast majority of the population in abject poverty. Perhaps this explains the rapid rise of the Mungiki, who claim to represent the millions who feel they have been ignored by successive governments. The next day, I get another call from the Mungiki leaders. The Mungiki hierarchy have invited us into one of the communities that they control to show us the good works that they do. This is Dandora, one of the most toxic places on earth. It's the landfill site for the city of Nairobi. Since we arrived here...
Why is there houses in the landfill site for the city of Nairobi? This just looked like a pile of hepatitis B, like no funny stuff like this. What is going on? See, this is the problem with Americans and people in the UK. We think whatever we think and associate with the trenches is really the trenches. Look at this.
People have been coming up to us in droves telling us how much the area has changed since the Mungiki took over. There used to be gangs that would basically take money off the people that work the tips here. Since the Mungiki arrived, those gangs have been moved off. They have protection and they're looked after. I have to say, to me, it looks like hell on earth. The Dandora dump may well be hell on earth, but thousands of people manage to scrape a living by sifting through the rotting waste in 40-degree heat. Stephen, can you tell me a little bit about how you managed to take control of this area?
It's quite a lot of work that has been doing consistently for a long time. We started with one person, you go recruiting the other, talking to them, you teach them about to stop bad behaviors.
How can you recruit someone who is in charge of that area if he's the gang guy that controls the area?
First of all, you know, within the message that you are preaching, there is a divine core. So some things just happens miraculously, unless you are...
Well, it was a miracle.
You can see it like a miracle, because if at all...
I find that hard to believe. I'm a cynic, though.
You are a cynic. Then let's say it's a lot of work that is being that is being done with the help of the community, within the people who surround them.
The Mungiki take me deeper into the vast dump to explain to me how they run the site. How does the finance work then? How does the money be collected? So, just say this is sold.
Like this one now. Like this one, 1 kilo is 13 shillings.
1 kilo is 10. 1 kilo of plastic is 10 shillings.
It's 10 shillings. So if you have 1,000 kilogram, then
you have more shillings.
You have more shillings, and within the whole Kenya, we collect 55,000 tons of plastics daily. So if you manage to collect half, then that's a lot of money.
One person collect half the plastic that y'all get, 55 tons. All right.
People here earn around 50 pence for a full day's work. I want to understand about how the actual community is run and how you police it and organize it.
We organize people into cells, and one cell is a cell of 10 people, and every group give to the other group. So they help one another.
Yeah, but there is a security inside that, and that comes from you guys, yeah?
Yeah.
Stephen has set up a meeting with a group of Mungiki converts. So everyone here is a Mungiki member, yeah? When they before the Mungiki, were they earning more money or less money?
He's saying that right now they are gaining they are getting money. And
sorry, in English, go on, say it.
We used to get money, but the money we get, we use it with
Daily bread.
With drinking, alcohol, drug abuse.
Yeah, I'm strong now. In Mungiki.
But why do the press continuously say that Mungiki are responsible for decapitations and killing people?
When you write an article about Mungiki, you will sell well, let me tell you, in the Kenyan newspaper. There won't be a copy that won't be bought. People want to know more about Mungiki. Mungiki is a mystery to Kenyans themselves.
So all those stories, all the things in the newspaper...
In December, the government was killing youths around this place. They formed this unit.
Is that true?
Yeah. Kwekwe, no to eruga noro kwekwe.
For nothing in fact.
They just kill people
Just
indiscriminately.
for believing, you know, for being members of Mungiki, you are taken, you are slaughtered. You know, that's what they do. The government does engage into mafia tactical activities. The government is an organized gang.
But that's what they say. That's what...
Listen. Especially in a third world country like this, what he's saying is probably not that far-fetched. Like, it's very believable.
They caused the Mungiki of being. Organized crime. That's what they say.
I came to disagree with that. We have come to believe that the government is killing us. They are fighting us. They are crushing us because of fear.
And why are they scared?
It has come a situation whereby the most neglected people in the society, they have now started arising and realizing that togetherness, they can do something.
They're scared of them banding together as a people. They rather than be scared and divided.
Mungiki offer the people here security, food, somewhere to live, and most importantly, hope. I have to say, most of the people that were doing the talking were well dressed and in suits, and most of the people doing the listening were the workers. Though the ones that I did speak to seemed honestly happy with having the Mungiki as their masters rather than their past masters, who were the government and the gangs. A quarter of...
I feel like this might be a case of like the lesser of two evils. Like, we'll just go with the lesser of two evils. You know. But I'm just from the outside looking in. I have no clue. We'll never know. We'll never be there. Sorry.
And people live next door to this highly polluted dump. Dandora town was built in the 1970s with World Bank money and quickly became notorious for violence and crime. The Mungiki say that since they took control of this area, crime levels have dropped. They've arranged for me to meet Tony. His story is typical of many young Mungiki, and he's fully on message.
I have no parents.
Yeah.
My father died in bomb blast.
The American Embassy bomb blast, yeah?
Yeah. I ran away from home.
So you go on the street with the street gangs, yeah?
Yeah, I meet with them.
Pickpocketing?
Yeah, pickpocketing. I take glue, drugs. The policeman put me inside for 6 months.
You were in prison for 6 months?
Yeah, in prison for 6 months.
How old are you then?
15.
You were 15, you went to prison for 6 months?
Yeah, 15.
Yeah. How did the Mungiki come into your life? How did that happen?
I ran to them. They welcomed me.
Yeah, and they taught you?
Yeah.
So Tony, you tell me a little bit about what your actual job is inside the Mungiki. What do you do?
Get people together. Teach them how to stop stealing, to stop drinking, to stop using drugs.
But how do you do that?
We teach them to believe one God, but no other God. We are talking with them with the mouth.
What about the violence that the Mungiki...
It's like everybody he talked to was generally on the same page on what to say. And I don't know.
Mungiki are accused of. Have you ever seen any of that?
Nothing. There is no thing like that.
Like the people dressed nicely are on the same page on what to say, but the people that are working for the Mungiki, like when they was in the landfill, he was like, "Oh yeah, we get money now together for alcohol and for drugs and this and that." But the people that are nice dressly running it, they say they don't want them doing that stuff. Like a lot of contradiction going on in my...
I feel like I've been on a bit of a Mungiki public relations tour, so we decide to slip off and talk to some other people from Dandora town. What's it like? Is it peaceful around here?
Yeah,
is it peaceful?
There's peace here. You see, people are doing their own businesses. Yeah?
There has been trouble here, though, hasn't there, or not?
It was not this area, it was...
over there, yeah?
Yeah, over there. Here it was very calm.
Are there any Mungiki here?
Yeah, there are very many here.
Yeah?
Maybe I'm one of them.
Are you? Well, you tell me,
I'm not one of them, but they're very many.
Are they good people?
Yeah, they're good people.
Everybody gives them a bad press. Why does everyone give them a bad press?
They always revenge when they are attacked. That's why they are said to be bad. But they are good people.
This is turning out to be a very different film from the film that I think we all thought we were going to make when we first arrived here. We came
from what I seen from the previews, all the stuff I got to blank out.
here to look at a sect come gang called the Mungiki. And we were told that they, regularly behead people, that they are vicious. And I don't know even at this moment whether that's true or not. When I met the leaders, they were a slick outfit. They were very convincing. Every question I asked them in terms of the murdering, of the beheadings, they all said that they were, plots by the government to destabilise them as an organisation. One thing's for sure, they are highly organised. What they've done is something that this government seems to have failed to have done, which is galvanised the poor here. I'm sure also they take money off them, undoubtedly, to support their organisation and to feather their own pockets. I can't prove that, but that's what I suspect. This country has that classic dilemma of, a few people ultimately controlling everything. And the poverty is just shocking.
And there's like no options as well. There's like no options for the poor. Like you can't do nothing here. You are constrained to what's in front of you.
I think we're at a very important time in modern Kenya's history in terms of, this place doesn't seem very far away from a revolution of some kind.
Man, don't forget, man, if you are watching this, you are part of the first responders. So hit that like button, man. It may not be important to you. You may not think it's important, but it's important to me. Keep in mind, I'm sitting here for an hour, then I got to go edit this, then wait another hour. Just the like button lets me know. Like, hey, thanks. We appreciate the entertainment. All right.
Next, I travel north to meet a community that have been forgotten. Kenya to uncover an I
was not prepared for that. What time is it? 27:25.
From the tribal violence sparked by the recent general election. The ruling president, President Kibaki, is from the Kikuyu tribe, and when he appeared to steal the election from the opposition, it was the catalyst for all of Kenya's tribes to rise up against the Kikuyu and settle old scores. Overnight, people were burnt out of their homes and hundreds were murdered. The violence claimed the lives of over 1,000 men, women and children and left 250,000 people homeless.
What we have seen actually defies description. You can only describe it as genocide.
I'm driving to Eldoret in the Rift Valley, a town that witnessed much of the post-election violence. At the height of the Troubles, it was reported that armed Mungiki were being bussed into the area and used as a militia to defend the Kikuyu people.
Matthews, can you tell me exactly what happened here after the election?
Immediately after the results were announced, there was an abrupt eruption of violence.
Yeah.
We saw people being chopped off the heads.
Beheaded? You actually saw that happening,
yes.
Yeah?
They were hacking each other.
Kikuyu...
This happened even outside my own house where I stay.
Outside your own house?
Yes.
One of the accusations that we've heard is that the Mungiki were driven in here and told people, we're coming in tomorrow, if you're not gone, we're going to kill you. Have you ever heard anything?
Yeah, there were those complaints from the local community that they had seen people being brought in using lorries from the other direction, Nairobi direction.
Yeah.
And these people were heavily armed.
But were these people Mungiki or were they just Kikuyu tribesmen?
Okay, most of them were Kikuyu tribesmen, but it is believed that some of them were Mungiki indeed, considering the kind of killings which were witnessed, like the chopping off of heads of people, chopping off of private parts.
Private parts, yeah.
Yes, and displaying them publicly.
Yeah. Once again, there appears to be plenty of rumours implicating the Mungiki in violence, but very little concrete evidence.
My bad, this is brutal. Brutality at its finest.
The fact is that hundreds of people were killed and thousands driven out of areas that have been their homes for decades. This is Eldoret Showground. Since the post-election violence, it's become an internally displaced persons camp. There are over 150 similar camps like this one in Kenya, home to some of the 300,000 displaced people. And it just goes on forever. How many people are actually living here?
Here in a little showground, we have more than 15,000 people.
15,000 people?
Yeah.
And they're all Kikuyu, yeah?
Most of the communities that have been affected are Kikuyus.
The government has assured the people here that it is safe to return home.
Like, just imagine, like, this is the norm. Like, as kids growing up in this, this is the norm. I'm pretty sure as a child, like, if you're not too exposed to the war and the death and all that stuff, and you just outside in a tent, probably fun as a child. But for these adults, like, this is not life.
However, they are too frightened to leave the security of the IDP camp.
And as the kids grow up, it's like PTSD, or maybe they won't even get PTSD because it's so normal.
While I've been in Kenya,
Is that a vulture?
I've seen some appalling examples of poverty, but there's always been a glimmer of hope. Here in Eldoret, I meet a glue community who seem to be at the very bottom of the human pile. We're in downtown Eldoret. We've come to meet the glue kids. These kids are addicted to solvents, and they're just some of the 350,000 kids that are homeless in Kenya. With the post-election violence, parents being killed or displaced, that number is expected to increase dramatically. I've witnessed many...
Me personally, I couldn't even visit, oh, let's go to Kenya for vacation. Like, I couldn't even do that knowing that this is going on right down the street, like, knowing that they don't care about their people. That's crazy to me. Like, this stuff is going on in our backyard, but I live here, and it is not like this.
Things on my travels, but I was truly horrified by what was happening around me. We just arrived, we were setting up, and what I wasn't prepared for was the fact that there are obviously young girls here that have children in part of this glue community. One of the most shocking things I think I've ever seen in my life is the mothers who are heavily addicted are giving the glue bottle to their toddlers. What's your name? Alex, yeah? And how old are you?
A toddler, these are crucial times in the development of a child's brain, like, and...
Are you 11?
You're 11 years old, yeah?
Yes.
And how long have you been on the street?
2 years.
2 years. And why did you end up here?
My mother's in here.
Well, she takes glue or drink?
Drunkards.
Alcohol?
Yes.
Yeah. When did you start taking glue? when you came here?
1 year.
1 year?
Yes.
Is it good? Do you want to keep doing it?
No.
Well, why do you do
I
it?
am here.
It hurts your chest?
Yes.
Would you like to leave the streets? What would you like to do? What would you like to do in the future?
To go to school.
To go to school?
Yes.
Where are your parents?
My parents is dead.
Your parents are dead?
Yes.
How did they die?
Clashes.
Clashes? The clashes between the tribes, yeah?
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't even got nothing to say.
Yes.
What tribe are you?
Kikuyu.
The Kikuyus, yeah?
Kikuyu.
Would you like to get out of here?
Yes, I want to leave.
What would you like to do?
I want to go to school.
To school to do what?
While I'm still unsure of the Mungiki's methods, I can't help thinking that any order in this place would be better than nothing at all. I'm back in Nairobi. During my time here, I've heard so many half-truths and rumours that I'm desperate to meet someone.
Can't even lie. Stuff like that be putting a light glaze over my eyes. Boy, that's tough right there. There was a 1-year-old with a glue.
Who will speak objectively about what's really going on. I've arranged a meeting with the chairman of the Kenyan National Commission on Human Rights, Maina Kaye.
In this country, there are really just two tribes, the rich and the poor.
That disparity between haves and have-nots, which is so great here.
Absolutely.
No one has ever catered for that, the have-nots.
No, nobody has. Government and politicians talk the talk, they never walk it. We have a group of greedy leaders, and that therefore means we find security and everything else by the government stays with the rich and not with the poor.
This Mungiki, this organisation, offers hope where there is none.
They also not only just hope, they also offer jobs.
Yeah.
Because they give unemployed people
Dandora,
something to do. Absolutely. They give people who are not employed, who can't get employment, have something to do.
One thing they've said to us, that they're not responsible for any of the beheadings that you see in the press. They say it was down to the Kwekwe, the secret police.
I don't know. There's no evidence to pinpoint Mungiki for the beheadings, although that's the common assumption that's made in this country. The other thing that's happened with Mungiki, as soon as became a reviled group in the country, then almost every single major criminal activity, the police would say it's Mungiki. So you'd find even non-Mungiki people extorting on the basis that they are Mungiki, even though they're not Mungiki. So Mungiki became...
When they're a secret organisation, it's
a scapegoat.
He's to say I'm one or I'm not one.
Absolutely.
What about this thing about the Kwekwe? Do these secret policemen exist that go around killing people?
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
there are
they do.
death squads here.
Oh, yes, they are. I mean, last year we documented at this commission about 500 bodies that had been found dead and they'd all been shot. Just the other day, I got a policeman coming to see me, telling me about a new squad that's been formed that's killing people. But this time they're not shooting. This time they're hanging, or they cut you off with a machete. And so they're moving away now from the shootings because the shootings point easily towards the police.
Maina, can you just tell me, what do you actually think about Mungiki?
Yeah, come on, tell me.
I think that any group that is secret is a danger to society. And I think if you can't speak out openly, if we can't know who Mungiki is for sure, then it will remain a dangerous outfit.
I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? With great power comes great responsibility. And you know, people don't want anything said negatively about the powers that be. So if you get to pinpoint exactly who these people are, you know what's gonna happen.
According to Maina, the Mungiki are not telling me the whole truth, and I'm still not sure what danger they pose.
Let's go talk to the rich people now.
Or what their ultimate goals are. Later, I get a call from the Mungiki leadership. They want me to join them and 60 new recruits in the Central Highlands for a clandestine ceremony. So far, we've been given unprecedented access by the Mungiki. They've allowed us into the slums, allowed us to film their projects, and to speak to their members, albeit under their watchful eye. Now they've invited us down to their spiritual homeland to film an initiation ceremony. It's the first time they've allowed anyone to do this. The ceremony takes place in Mungiki heartland, high up in the Central Highlands, where the sect first began. Very little is known about the Mungiki's oathing ceremony, and I have no idea of what to expect. It's alleged that new recruits swear their allegiance, and that betrayal or leaving the sect is punishable by death.
Dai da da yangai wito dai. Dai da da yangai dai. Dai da da yangai wito dai. Dai da da yangai dai. Dai da da yangai. Kenya ga kire biro yo kari horo kai he Kenya bene ko tamita do mo ko nyandaro. Dai da da yangai dai. Dai da da yangai dai. Dai da da yangai dai. Gongona via kumuru kumone nyaga kiroro maya.
I mean, it's similar to what a butcher shop does. It's already passed away. That maybe they're about to just eat a meal. Rose. Hold on, look at ah. Oh man. My bad. Are you gonna eat or no?
The young men behind me are just about to be baptized in the freezing cold pool just behind me. This will be the final part of their initiation into the Mungiki.
Everyone that joins the movement must be initiated. When you are in the water, you vow never to sin again. And after you vow never to sin again, you start a new life, afresh.
And what will happen now? What's the future now for these young men?
People are grouped into different units.
Where will you train them now? Where will they go?
We hold small seminars everywhere, countrywide. Yeah. We want to build our people. We want to empower them economically, fast. They start right from the grassroots in managing the affairs of the areas that they. Stay. And of course, the future, we have hopes that one day we shall make the government.
The more time I spend with the Mungiki, the harder I find it to believe that the rumours and the accusations made against them are true. But there seem to be an overwhelming amount of people in Kenya who believe them to be true, so we need to find some people who actually have hard evidence about...
Yeah, we ain't ran into nobody that believes that yet. From the people to them.
The decapitations, about the body parts being spread across the countryside, and about the fact they use fear and intimidation to take money off the poor people who they say they're here to protect. Back in Nairobi, I visit a slum that has lived with the Mungiki and seen the hope that they bring and the violence they hand out.
His head ended up there.
We're here.
Over there.
I'm in Kenya investigating an organization called the Mungiki.
And I already missed it. I'm trying to... 41...
This is Mathare, 4 kilometers from the center of Nairobi. It's home to around 300,000 people and was once a Mungiki stronghold until they were brutally removed. I'm meeting up with Sammy, who at great risk to himself has agreed to talk about how the Mungiki operated here.
Sammy, can you tell me how the Mungiki first came in to Mathare?
They served a notice to anybody who was involved in crime.
Yeah.
And they said, if you are caught stealing or doing anything, you will face us.
And what do they do with people who didn't listen to what they'd threatened?
Well, one morning people woke up and there were 4 heads on that stretch over there.
Up on the hill there were just 4 decapitated heads, yeah?
Yes. It was a very strong statement that they meant business. Just...
strongest statement I ever seen, heard of, or anything.
You know, in a span of about a week, there was no crime. This place was paradise again.
Because the Mungiki policed it?
Because the Mungiki policed it. Even the community appreciated the fact that they were here at that point. And the other thing was they were the only people who had the nerve to steal electricity from the Kenya Power and Lighting, and then supply down here. But, you know, you had to pay for it. Per bulb, you had to pay 300.
Just for one light bulb,
just
300
one
shillings?
light, yes.
What, a week or a month?
That's a month.
A month?
Yeah. Then afterwards...
How much... Hey, Siri. How much is 300 shillings in American money? 300 shillings USA. $2.41. Okay.
There is...
To them, that's a lot, but...
resulted to now asking people money for protection. If you have a house within the area that they were claiming to protect, you were forced to pay 30 shillings.
That's extortion, isn't it?
It is.
And it's extorting money from people who are incredibly poor, isn't it?
It is. It is.
What happened to people who crossed them?
You know, they would abduct you.
Yeah.
Keep you for some time. Like one of the people who was abducted, I don't know how he crossed them, but his head ended up there.
Well, here?
Over there. That's where the head was. And his legs, you know, the lower part was not very far at the end of the village where it starts from this end. And his upper body...
His torso, yeah?
Yeah, was found at the end where Mathare ends.
Nearly a mile away from where his head and his leg...
So you can spread them out.
Yes, yes. So when this started happening, even the community now started asking themselves questions. Do we really want this?
Well, the essence is that they started off, and people believe they started off with good intentions.
Yes.
To police this area, offering something the government didn't offer.
Yes.
But it grew ugly.
Yes, it did. It did.
The tension between the police and the Mungiki came to a head last year when 2 policemen were shot in the... Between the police and the Mungiki came to a head last...
The tension between police and the Mungiki came to a head last year, and I'm sure that's no pun intended.
When 2 policemen were shot in the back and had their weapons stolen. The police retaliation for the murders was brutal.
Oh, wait a minute. No. Hold on. Yeah, I know what's about to happen. I ain't showing them.
The police came now on a revenge mission. These were GSU.
General Service Unit.
Yeah.
These are the bad guys.
Oh boy, you don't want them. The shooting started, the beating, everybody was asked to come out of their houses if you were caught inside. Then they would beat you or shoot you. In a span of 6 hours, 35 people had been killed.
The police killed 35 people
35 people.
What, shot them?
Shot them. They raped women around.
The police were raping?
Yeah. There is what goes in the record. There is what doesn't go in the record. It was horrific. It was horrific what happened.
But the Mungiki caused this to happen, didn't it?
They did, but Mungiki came because there was a gap. There's no way a government can ignore 300,000 people and everything, goes well, somebody is bound to take advantage of the situation.
All right, Sammy, if you heard that the Mungiki were coming back...
Cap, he's right. The government ignores 300,000 people. There has to be somebody to rise up and take responsibility for 300,000 people. And in that darkness, Mungiki was born. And like I said earlier, it's like people is just choosing the worst of two evils, the better of two evils. Who's providing for us? Which evil is providing for us? We're gonna roll with them is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Would you be pleased?
It's tricky. They come with a face that says, but it takes time before you now start seeing the ugliness.
Whether the Mungiki operating in Mathari were a splinter group or representatives of the organisation as a whole, I just don't know. One thing that is for sure is that violence and fear was used to control the people here. And I'm still no closer to finding out whether the Mungiki are using their power for their own good or for the good of the people.
Both. It sounds like both.
Later that day, we hear some grim news. Yesterday at 3 p.m, Minor Njenga's wife, bear in mind Minor's the head of the Mungiki, Minor Njenga's wife and a driver were abducted. The driver managed to get a call out to his cousin, and the last thing that was heard from them was the driver pleading for his life. I met Virginia briefly 10 days ago, and it's chilling to think that she's now gone missing.
Life can change of a blink of an eye, life can change in a blink of an eye, especially out here. See.
Another woman who is high up in the Mungiki is Florence. At one time, she was the most wanted woman in Kenya. I'm on my way to meet her at a secret location in Nairobi. Before joining the Mungiki, she was a prostitute for 15 years.
Pro-turned Kiki is crazy.
Miner's wife disappeared yesterday, didn't she?
The day after yesterday.
What happened?
Even now, I'm just here. I'm feeling, my blood is telling me they are dead. My blood is telling me.
You think that they're dead?
Yes, I'm feeling.
Who do you think's responsible for taking them away?
This Kwekwe squad.
Kwekwe?
Yeah.
The secret police?
Yeah. They want us to feel pain so that we can leave Mungiki. But even if they take my baby and kill my baby, I'll never go back. Never.
A little extreme, isn't it?
Tell me actually what you do.
I'm a coordinator of women.
Do you target prostitutes?
Yeah. I can change their life within 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
And what do you do to change their lives in 30 minutes?
I do read them Bible and tell them I was like you one day. I was smoking a very much bangi.
Yeah, a lot of marijuana, yeah?
Very much. I've been jailed because of robbery. I was even slaughtering girls.
You were slaughtering?
Yeah, I was a bad girl. Yeah.
You killed people?
Yeah. I was brewing changa.
Very strong alcohol.
Yeah, I was selling to people. And if you don't pay me, I was taking with a glass and slaughter. I can do everything to you. So everybody was fearing me in Kayole, Soweto.
What about the claims that, some of the girls that join have female circumcision? Is that true?
What? What is that? What is that?
Some of the girls that join have female circumcision. Is that true?
Yes, of course.
Some of the allegations we heard were that people were locked up and basically forced to have circumcision.
Not forced.
Right.
No.
Okay.
It's your wish. Like now, April, there is 20 girls.
20 girls?
Yeah, and they'll come to my house.
How do you do it?
Yeah, there is an old woman. She will come with a knife, and then I'll take the legs of the girl, and then I'll cover the neck like this. Please, please, please. Hold on. And then the mama will just cut. Just a small thing. Just a very small thing.
Some people might disagree with you that it's a small thing. But,
It's a very small thing.
doesn't that mean that by taking away that very small thing, that she won't be able to enjoy sex in the future?
That's life.
They cut off the humbug? That's not even a fair name. Female circumcision. That's not even a right. That's not that. That is something completely else.
To be circumcised is a good thing because I can stay about 3 years without a man and I can survive. But uncircumcised girls can't stay because when that thing stands like this, you feel you want a man. You can be fucked by everybody, even dogs.
We hear
Rose is like, wait a minute.
that the Mungiki go into the slums and remove the pickpockets. How do they do that?
It's just to tell you, if I'll see you one day pickpocketing here, I'll take off your head. So you have to fear, and you know.
So you threaten them, but would you do it?
If I saw you pickpocketing, in my estate, I won't allow you. I won't allow you. I'll take you to my base.
And then what?
I'll beat you, or I'll tell you, and then if you will just hands up, I'll leave you free.
What would happen
Hey, this lady is crazy. I ain't even gonna hold
if someone killed Minor?
This Kenya will be bloodshed. Will revenge the whole world. Mombasa, Eldoret, Lamu, everywhere will burn these houses to hell. And I'll be in front.
When you meet people with that kind of passion inside them, it's easy to see how that quickly can overspill into violence. And she was just so forthright. That kind of belief, that kind of loyalty.
There's been several moments in this where I have been speechless, and that was one of them.
Is open to manipulation. I think when you've got people in an organisation like that who are, to all intents and purposes, brainwashed, I think that makes an organisation very scary. Minor Njenga's wife and her driver both went missing 2 days ago. We've just received a phone call from a leading member of the Mungiki to say that 2 bodies answering their description have turned up in the morgue. We're on our way there to find out if it's them. Florence's prediction has become all too true. As we arrive at the mortuary, her family and the Mungiki leaders are too stunned to talk. However, a relation of one of the dead told me all he knew.
So we know. So it was the wife and the driver. So it's about to be up soon.
What had happened to the bodies? Do you know exactly what had happened to them?
From what we have seen, these people were tortured a lot because the bodies have got deep panga cuts. The hands, they are tied up, the legs were tied up. And we are not seeing it as if it's just some ordinary criminal doing that. We are seeing as if maybe there was some information some people are trying to retrieve from these people. That's why they were torturing them. So we are seeing maybe there is another mightier power behind this kind of crime.
Do you have any idea who those people might have been?
Well, we don't want to speculate because it's too early. We don't want to speculate about it. Whoever is behind this is inhuman. It's inhuman. Whatever those people could have done. I mean, you just don't do things like that.
How has Minor reacted to the news, do you know?
Some of these things he doesn't know. Even now, he doesn't know. So we don't know how he'll react because he doesn't know about it.
Thank you very much for your time.
We can assume how he's gonna react. He's gonna go wild.
Sorry, I'm sorry for you and your family.
Oh, this is
2 days later, Kenya awoke to the backlash. The Mungiki took to the streets, setting fire to vehicles and blocking roads. It wasn't long before Nairobi was at a standstill, and we were caught in the middle of it. What's happening, boys? What's happening? As we attempt to avoid the traffic jams, we turn down a slip road and run straight into the path of an angry mob.
This is one thing you don't do in a land that you are not familiar with. This is 101 in Chicago. If I'm not familiar with this area, I'm not turning down a side street. I'm staying on the main street, my boy. And you are in Kenya. Kenya. You turned right into a mob, got out the car, start filming. Never. This is what's be separating roads, I'm telling y'all.
Get in the car. Let's go. The Mungiki are rioting in reprisal for the killing of their leader's wife, Virginia. They're attempting to bring Nairobi to a standstill, and we've taken a shortcut directly into the path of an angry mob. Right, get in the car, get in the car, get in the car. There's a crowd there, and they're not fucking around, and they are upset.
You know it's getting serious when Rose say curse words.
The natural instinct is to turn and run, but as the mob get closer, I sense we're not the focus of their aggression. Hedging our bets, we decide to stand our ground. As you can see, it's demonstration. Boys, listen to me. You're complaining because Njenga's wife was killed, yes?
Yeah. And we want him free. Yeah.
You want Njenga free, yeah?
We want them free. They are innocent citizens.
But you guys claim to be Mungiki, yeah?
Yeah. One of them. Yeah.
No more killing.
No more killing. No more killing. We want them to tell us.
No minor, no peace. No minor. There is no peace in Kenya. Okay. Kill wife. There is no minor in Kenya. Okay. Kill wife. There is no minor freedom. Why are they torturing us?
Well, as you can see, tension is very high here. You know, they're very upset. The Mungiki have closed off Nairobi. The Mungiki mob move up the road, and we follow. There are gangs of young Mungiki over to our left, demonstrating. The police are moving away. This road is the Kenyan equivalent of the M1. Using commandeered vehicles and burning tyres, the Mungiki barricade the road. Taking the keys out of the vehicles and blocking the road. There's petrol going down on the tyre right in front of me. As the crowd grows, they're keen to express their opinions.
Why is the government killing us like dogs?
Yeah, they
kill Kenya.
They kill.
Who do you think? Sorry. Who do you think was responsible for his wife's murder?
Yes, the government. The government. Listen. They used to the government to arrest us. And when they arrest us, when they take you to the police post, they kill you, hanging, murder. What have you done? We are not thieves.
It is better.
So they playing judge, jury, and executioner over there, the police, huh?
They shoot us rather than torturing us.
Thank you. As the mob becomes more confident, they begin to chant Mungiki songs. watch out. Right, they keep their round.
He's trying to get up out of there when the shots are fired, ain't it?
Sorry, the police have just turned up. They're firing rounds, tear gas. The mob scatters, well aware of the force the police will use to stop the protest.
Oh yeah, they coming deep. It's time to go, buddy.
Just locked and loaded, right? The police are arming themselves now. He's just locked and loaded his weapon.
And it's like when Rose go to these places, he is protected kind of because you know he's not even from here. He's from the UK, so if they lay a hand on him, it's a whole war, ain't it?
Go home! Go to your houses! Get out here now! Kenya is a working nation. We go back to our duties. Go back to your duties because Kenya is a working nation. Kenya is a working nation. We go back to our duties.
The police stopped the protest without casualties on either side, but in similar incidents all over Kenya as they attempted to quell the riots.
I can assure you we shall respond so firmly that the criminals involved will have cause to regret if any of them survives the peace.
Of only 48 hours left in the country, the Mungiki leaders are in hiding and in fear of their lives, but they have agreed to one last meeting. My concerns are that there are many, many decent people in your organisation, but there are also criminals inside your organisation. I think we can clear this up very quickly with one simple question. Do you use violence as part of achieving your ultimate goal?
No. No.
The police have threatened to crush you. You have publicly declared the fact that civil disorder will carry on until you get justice. Is that what's going to happen?
Exactly. And the government won't be able to clamp down on us. It won't be able to crush us down. It has tried to not be able to.
How much danger are you two personally in at the moment as leaders of the organisation?
Personally, I am at the fear of being killed any moment. Maybe I may die even 20 minutes from now. If we were to disappear, do not look for us, just know we're dead.
The Mungiki leaders have promised
I don't think Rose was fun to look for you. No, I'm just saying, nothing personal.
further civil unrest until they get justice. To find out how the police intend to deal with any future threat from the Mungiki, we've arranged to meet with the official police spokesman.
Oh, okay.
Minor Njenga's wife. We've heard varying accounts. One accusation that was levelled by the Mungiki in the press yesterday was that the police were responsible for a death. Can you enlighten us as to what you believe actually happened?
Well, what we know about the Mungiki sect, at this point in time, one might not be very much in order to comment about all the details, circumstances concerning that death, but Mungiki has also created sects, especially after it had to go completely underground last year.
And during the crackdown?
During the crackdown. And one sect could be responsible, and they are diverting attention from themselves.
The Mungiki leadership have said that they will go on demonstrating until there is justice. How are you going to deal with them if they keep setting fire to things, causing roadblocks?
So far, by now, we have arrested about 60 of them.
60? We
are on their trail, and no criminal escapes for too long in this country.
It's something fishy about bro. You look like the Grim Reaper himself.
coming here, one thing I've learned is nothing is as straightforward as it first appears. In a country with mass poverty and endemic corruption, the Mungiki appear to offer something where there is nothing. We've heard many accusations for and against them, and no way of proving or disproving them. And despite countless efforts by self-serving governments to wipe them out, they appear to be growing stronger. Whether the Mungiki use that power for their own gain or the good of the people, I have no idea. But one thing is for certain, the people here are prepared to sacrifice.
Oh, that's it? Alright, my bad. TheeLitOne, leave a like, comment,
Riverside. Guys, if you're still recording your podcast on Zoom, do yourself and your...
Dude, like, on some real stuff, man. In the beginning, how it was going, I thought Mungiki was on something. But they seem like to be the glimmer of hope in this situation. Leave a like, comment, let me know what y'all think, man. I'm gone, man. It's actually sad still.